Hi, my name is Steven Gonzalez, and this is my video project on achievement gap. My definition of achievement gap is the achievement gap in education refers to the disparity of academic performance between groups of students. This could be racially, this could be gender, this could be social economic status. This could also just be community based on are you in a wealthier community, a not so wealthy community? Are your parents immigrants? Are your parents from the States? There's many different reasons that there are achievement gaps in education, but also for students, and even goes beyond that to adulthood. Um, my proposed solution for the achievement gap is to create relationships with parents and students, and by creating those relationships, to use that to personalize learning for students in the classroom, but also to keep parents in tune with what's going on with their students within the classroom. The reasoning behind my solution is because it really just winds down to I grew up in a lower middle class community where it was predominantly Latino based. And with that being said, there was a lot of, I guess you could say, faults with the education system, being that we were the poorest school in the district. We had local communities that were richer or that had more funding, or there was more parent involvement. And this is something that needs to be brought to the community that I grew up in, closer on the East Los Angeles side. Resources that would be necessary to kind of pushing this through would just be communication, number one, communication technology being phones for call and text, maybe a computer or a laptop for email communication. Uh, while we're physically like going through the process, I think it's important to have contact sheets of the parents and the students combined, so I know which parent belongs to which student. Being able to communicate to them is going to be a big process of getting to know the parents and kind of helping them understand what I'm doing with their student. Space wise, you can always use the classroom for one on one communication, or maybe we're having parent teacher conferences, maybe also an open space to hold meetings for a larger group. Maybe, once every couple of months, I reconvene with the parents and say, hey, this is what we're working on, and this is our goals for the next few months. Um, One thing for the students, resources that they will need is technology for the classroom. So it is common for a lower income community to provide laptops for classes. But in the community I grew up in, there was, I remember, 2 carts of Chromebooks, which isn't a lot when you come from a school with 2,000 students and you have to check out the laptops per classroom. Your teacher would have to do that. And I think that we need to reallocate funds in order to give more opportunity for students to be able to, one, with technology we learn quicker and we learn faster, but two, allow them to be able to do individual work and maintain classroom functions, but also allow them to collaborate a lot easier with their classmates in an efficient time frame. Some obstacles that might arise during this implementation would be possible pushback from parents and students. I know in lower income areas it's a lot harder to push and get through with understanding what we're trying to achieve. And for me specifically, being in a Latino based population, it's communication is really hard. I understand Spanish, but to communicate back is one of my obstacles, and that's something that I can definitely fix. But I know it will be, a slight change for me to actually be one on one with parents, because it's not always, I guess, a guaranteed thing. Lack of funding from school and also not having full support from the school be an obstacle. At times, it's just easier to say, hey, go through the motions as opposed to going above and beyond. Some hopeful outcomes that I have is to change the environment or the involvement of parents from very little involvement to full involvement with their child's education, and for students to be given the opportunity to learn on a personalized level. I think it's very important for parents to be fully invested and fully involved, because in today's day and age, it's unfortunate when we see students who just get passed along from grade to grade without fully understanding what they just learned throughout the school year, or understanding the curriculum, maybe even understanding the changes that have occurred, from grade to grade. And ultimately for me, it's important for me and my community because opportunities to connect with parents is not always at the forefront of the lower income communities. Usually students are simply passed on, like I had mentioned before, from grade to grade despite their academic standing. And with open communication, we might be able to set goals and paths for students with parents' ideals and their involvement as well. It really is important to kind of bridge that gap of, you know, going above and beyond and doing the bare minimum. I think it takes a really strong educator to be able to differentiate both. But thank you so much.